Wealth is like water. It flows where the channels are deepest and safest. Singapore, a dot on the map, barely larger than New York City. Yet it has become the quiet capital of billionaires. While the world watches Wall Street, London, or Dubai, something far more subtle is happening here in Southeast Asia. The richest people on earth, tech founders, oil magnates, hedge fund kings, and old money dynasties are quietly moving their fortunes, their families, and even their futures into this city-state. But why? Today, on the Asian Scrolls, we uncover why Singapore has become the billionaire magnet of the world. Chapter 1. The new capital of wealth. Across the world, the wealthy are restless. The very places that once promised security now feel dangerous to their fortunes. In Europe, wealth is under siege. Governments struggling with rising debts and social pressure have turned their eyes toward the ultra-rich. New wealth taxes, inheritance grabs, and sudden policy shifts make even old money families feel like targets. Luxury estates in France or London no longer guarantee security. Instead, they attract scrutiny. For the European elite, every headline about taxing the rich feels like a warning shot. In America, billionaires may be powerful, but they are also constantly in the spotlight. Their names appear on front pages, their net worths tracked daily, their wealth debated on political stages. Success is not celebrated, it is questioned, challenged, and often painted as greed. In this climate, billionaires don't feel invisible, they feel hunted. In Asia, the story is equally turbulent. Hong Kong was once the undisputed crown jewel of finance, a gateway between East and West, where bankers, magnates, and investors gathered. For decades, it was the safe bridge between China's rise and the world's capital markets. But after years of political crackdowns and protests, Hong Kong has lost its shine. The ultra-rich, who value silence above all else, fled. Some of them turned to Dubai, a city of glass towers and desert luxury. Dubai dazzles with glamour, but it carries baggage. Its legal system is young, its politics sometimes unpredictable, and its reputation as a playground for wealth often overshadows its credibility as a long-term wealth sanctuary. To billionaires, glamour is not enough. What they seek is stability. This is where Singapore steps in. In the last decade, Singapore has transformed from a respected financial hub into something much bigger, the new capital of wealth. The numbers tell the story. In 2023 alone, more than 3,000 millionaires moved their fortunes to Singapore, an unprecedented wave of wealth migration. And these are not just middle-class millionaires. They are tech billionaires from Silicon Valley, heirs of Indian business dynasties, Middle Eastern oil families, and European hedge fund titans. Here, they do not simply buy luxury apartments in Marina Bay or fleets of yachts on Sentosa. They are buying something much more valuable: peace of mind. Singapore offers them silence, discretion, the freedom to walk the streets without tabloid photographers or angry mobs demanding redistribution. It offers them security, laws that protect property rights, contracts that are enforced, and a government that plans decades into the future, not just the next election. For these billionaires, Singapore is not just another city to park money. It is the anchor for their families, the shield for their legacies, and the vault for their futures. This is why more and more of the world's wealthiest are drawn to this island nation. Singapore is not trying to be flashy. It is not competing with Dubai's glamour or Hong Kong's old prestige. Instead, it has quietly become what the rich value most, a place where money finds safety and silence and certainty. For them, Singapore is not just another destination. It is the new capital of wealth. Chapter 2. The Fortress City. But what exactly makes Singapore so magnetic? Why, out of all the glittering cities of the world, does this small island pull in so much wealth? The answer can be captured in a single word: stability. For billionaires, this is the ultimate currency. More than yachts, more than penthouses, more than investments, what they seek most is certainty. They know that one election can change a nation's tax laws. One protest can destroy investor confidence. One revolution can erase decades of wealth overnight. In many parts of the world, the rich live with this quiet fear. In Latin America, fortunes have been wiped out overnight by sudden nationalizations. In Europe, changing governments introduce wealth taxes that drain old family fortunes. In Africa and parts of Asia, political unrest can undo even the best-laid business plans. Chaos is the great enemy of wealth, but in Singapore, this fear does not exist. Here, the government is trusted, efficient, predictable. Policies are not drawn from emotion or political battles. They are calculated, debated, and built for the long term. A vision for decades, not just for elections. And unlike many countries, Singapore has something extraordinary: near zero corruption. While corruption eats away at trust in much of the developing world, here the rules are clear, the laws are enforced, and everyone knows where the line is drawn. For billionaires, that is priceless. Step into the streets of Singapore, and you see the order with your own eyes. There are no riots, no burning cars, no angry mobs demanding revolution. Trains arrive on time. Streets are clean. Laws are followed. Even petty crime, the kind that plagues wealthy cities everywhere, is astonishingly rare. It is a place where children walk home safely at night. And if a city is safe enough for its children, the ultra-rich know it is safe enough for their billions. This is why billionaires trust Singapore, not only with their money, but with their families, their legacies, and their futures. To them, chaos is poison, and Singapore is the antidote. Unlike Dubai, which dazzles but sometimes wavers, or Hong Kong, which once thrived but lost its balance, Singapore has built something more enduring: a reputation as a fortress city. Here, wealth is untouchable. The rules do not change overnight, and for the ultra-wealthy, that is the rarest treasure of all. Chapter 3. The Banking Paradise. Behind Singapore's glittering skyline lies something more powerful than steel towers and glass facades. One of the most trusted financial systems in the world. In many countries, banks are built on shaky ground, weighed down by reckless speculation, bad debts, or political interference. In some nations, banks collapse when governments change. In others, they gamble with depositors' money, chasing risky profits and leaving chaos behind. Singapore is different. Here, banks are run with discipline. They are conservative by design, guided by strict rules that prevent the kind of financial scandals that topple institutions elsewhere. At the center of it all stands the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, one of the most respected regulators on earth. MAS is not a passive overseer. It is a guardian, watching every move, ensuring that Singapore's financial system is built not for short-term gains, but for long-term trust. For billionaires, this matters more than anything. They do not come to Singapore chasing flashy returns or risky bets. They come for certainty. They want to know that their money is not just safe today, but safe for decades, safe enough to pass on to their children, their grandchildren, and the generations that will carry their legacy. And yet, behind this world of regulated stability lies another layer, one far more secretive. Beneath the city, hidden in high-security facilities, lie the gold vaults of Singapore. Tons of gold, owned not by nations but by the world's wealthiest individuals and families, rest in climate-controlled chambers and reinforced bunkers. Some vaults are built to military-grade standards, designed to survive disasters, attacks, even war. These vaults are guarded not just by locks and steel, but by silence. Their exact locations are discreet, their clients protected by absolute privacy. And here lies the shift that few have noticed. The gold that once flowed to Europe, to Geneva, to Zurich, to Luxembourg, now flows into Singapore. For centuries, Switzerland was the unquestioned safe haven of wealth. But as European banks grew entangled in scandals, leaks, and pressures from governments demanding transparency, the ultra-rich looked elsewhere. They found Singapore. This island, tropical and small, has become the new Switzerland of the East, discreet, trusted, untouchable. A place where billionaires can hide not just money, but the most ancient symbol of wealth, gold. It is no coincidence. Singapore built this system deliberately, positioning itself as the fortress where wealth can rest, unseen and untouched, while the rest of the world struggles with instability. For the ultra-rich, this is priceless. In a world where trust is the rarest commodity, Singapore offers exactly that: certainty, secrecy, permanence. And so, billions in dollars, in assets, in gold bars, now flow beneath this island, into vaults that may one day hold more of the world's wealth than Switzerland itself. Chapter 4. The taxes they love to pay. Wealth is not only about earning, it is about keeping. And here, in this truth, lies one of Singapore's greatest advantages. Unlike other so-called tax havens, where secrecy is murky, rules are fragile, and fortunes are always at risk of sudden exposure, Singapore does not play in the shadows. This is not a land of loopholes, shell companies, or hidden accounts. No, Singapore offers something far more powerful. A system that is open, legal, and transparent. But within that clarity lies a design so elegant, it feels as though it were crafted with billionaires in mind. Here, there is no inheritance tax. When a tycoon dies, his empire does not bleed into the coffers of the state. His children inherit the fortune intact companies, land, gold, shares, all passed down, untouched. Legacy, preserved in full. There is no capital gains tax. When investments grow, the wealth does not shrink under the weight of government claims. If a billionaire sells shares, if his portfolio doubles, if his assets rise, the profit is his and his alone. And then comes income tax. In America, fortunes are eaten away by rates that climb as high as 37%. In Europe, even higher. But in Singapore, the top rate is strikingly lower. For billionaires, this is not just relief, it is freedom. Freedom to grow businesses. Freedom to plan for generations. Freedom to invest without fear that tomorrow's government will suddenly rewrite the rules. This system is not accidental. It was built carefully, deliberately to attract the world's brightest entrepreneurs and wealthiest families. To say, bring your ideas, bring your companies, bring your billions, and here, they will not be punished. Here, they will be nurtured. And so they come. Billionaires move not only their money, but their headquarters, their trusts, their heirs. They know that Singapore offers something few nations dare to promise: certainty. The certainty that wealth earned will remain wealth kept. In the end, Singapore's advantage is not in loopholes. It is not in shadows. It is in clarity. A clarity that the ultra-rich crave in a world full of shifting rules. For them, Singapore's tax system is not a burden. It is not even a compromise. It is, in the truest sense, an invitation. Chapter 5. The Billionaire Clubs. There is another secret to Singapore's rise as a billionaire magnet. A secret that does not shine from the skyline, nor whisper from the stock exchange. It hides in quiet offices, behind unmarked doors, known only to those who need them. These are the family offices. A family office is not a bank. It is not a corporation. It is something far more intimate. It is a private fortress of wealth, built for one purpose: to manage the fortune of a single family. Here, billionaires do not just deposit money. They build entire institutions around their names. Offices staffed with financial architects, lawyers, strategists, and advisors. Their mission is not only to grow the fortune, but to preserve it across generations. And in Singapore, these family offices are multiplying at a staggering pace. In just a few years, their numbers have swelled more than fivefold. Each one represents not millions, but billions of dollars in assets. Some orchestrate investments across Asia's rising economies. Others oversee global empires, art collections that span centuries, fleets of private jets, yachts moored in oceans halfway across the world. But beyond money, these offices move something even greater: legacies. They ensure that dynasties are not scattered, but anchored. That wealth flows not just to children, but to grandchildren and great-grandchildren still unborn. In Singapore, fortunes are not fleeting. They are planted like trees to grow for generations. And so, the city becomes more than a financial hub. It becomes a heartbeat of empires. A place where billionaires do not simply park money, but settle roots. A place where families stretch their shadows across time. This is the final piece of the puzzle. Billionaires are not merely storing wealth in Singapore. They are moving their families, their names, their futures. And with every new family office, Singapore tightens its grip as the world's true capital of wealth. Every billionaire understands one truth: wealth is fragile. It can be built over decades of vision, sweat, and strategy, yet destroyed in days by politics, by chaos, or by a single stroke of a pen. That is why they seek safety. That is why they choose silence over spectacle. That is why, in a world cracking with uncertainty, Singapore has become the magnet of billionaires. Here, wealth does not shout. It does not flaunt. It whispers. It multiplies quietly, behind glass towers and discreet doors, protected not by luck, but by design, by stability, by law, by vision. This is why the world's richest are moving their fortunes here. Not for glamour, not for noise, but for certainty, for the guarantee that their empires will endure. And so, on this small island with no natural resources, Singapore proves something extraordinary, that discipline, trust, and vision are the most valuable currencies of all. If you found this revealing, subscribe to the Asian Scrolls, share this with a friend, and tell us in the comments, do you think Singapore will one day replace Switzerland as the world's wealth capital?